everyone! My name is Maki, a wild girl who adores Gundam. I've come all the way from Japan to enlighten you all about the awesomeness of the Gundam series. Today, I'll introduce a side character from Gundam Wing. I wonder what impressions you formed after seeing this form? Some of you might find it brand white. This mobile suit is named Tragos. It's one of the models in Gundam Wing. As you can discern from its appearance, this mobile suit excels in long-range artillery attacks. It's a unit specialized in support roles. By the way, the name Tragos is derived from Capricorn, one of the 12 zodiac signs. Isn't it strange that, upon hearing this tidbit, its personality seems somewhat laid back? So, we will be diving into the mobile suit Tragos today. Prepare for the artillery battle. Let's chat about the origin of the Tragos. Tragos is a mobile suit that was inspired by the firepower of the Talkie. The Talkie was the ultimate weapon, developed by the 6 scientists who appear in the story. However, its high performance turned out to be a drawback, as only individuals with extraordinary physical abilities and piloting skills could operate it. Based on the design of the Talkie, the Leo was developed by down-tuning to make it easier for many soldiers to handle. Using the Leo as a base, the Ares was developed to inherit the Talkie's aerial compatibility and to be easier to handle similarly. The Tragos was developed based on the Leo to incorporate the Talkie's firing ability as a general-purpose weapon. The Dover gun developed as Talkie's equipment was a very powerful armament. However, reinforcing the suit to handle this weapon resulted in a difficult-to-handle operating performance, which involved forcibly maneuvering at high speed with a high-output booster. The Dover gun itself was recognized as useful enough and is equipped on the Leo. However, it had a major drawback in that it couldn't perform accurate shooting unless both arms were used to hold it in a state equipped with a dedicated attachment. It's even said that the firepower is kept lower than the Dover gun used by Talkie. Even in the down-tuned state, it's so powerful that it needs to be used with both arms. With the goal of creating a mobile suit with the Talkie's attack power without major restrictions, Tragos was developed. The developer is a technician belonging to OZ Subarov. He created a lot of very important weapons in the Gundam Wing story. He also built the man-machine mobile doll system, which greatly influenced the development of the story. And he directed the construction of the giant warship Libra Tragos. The thoroughbred of the mobile suit was developed by the powerful Subarovers, and the descendant of the Talkie created by genius scientists is a big cute being, a goat rather than a horse. A big feature of Tragos is the hover unit, the voluminous lower body demonstrating more stability. The middle walking is a characteristic of Tragos. This heavy unit can run surprisingly flexibly. It might look sluggish from its tank-like appearance, but compared to conventional weapons, it has such high mobility that it can be called high mobility, of course. Compared to cutting-edge weapons like Gundam that disregard cost, it is true that it's sluggish. This hover unit can also be removed. It's also capable of beetle walking, so it can move according to the situation. It can even handle rough terrain unsuitable for hover travel. According to the materials, mobility decreases during beetle walking. The hover unit greatly contributes to smoothly moving the heavily armed unit. However, you hardly ever see it walking on 2 feet in the Gundam Wing animation. OZ was part of an organization representing the entire Earth, the Earthsphere Unified Alliance. They must have fully understood the Topaz Rail information when operating weapons. If it's a battlefield where beetle walking is used, it would be natural to dispatch Leo, which would have an advantage, of course. It's also possible that the animation production staff forgot about the existence of Tragos' beetle form. Tragos is characterized by the large guns equipped on both shoulders. As you can easily see, Most of its missions involve supporting other mobile suits. It may look plain, but it has very high firepower. After all, it is a relative of Tagi. A similar unit also appears in the first anime of the Gundam series. That's the gun tank. This unit also has the main role of supporting with gunfire. In the world of the story, it's a relative of Tagi. In the larger framework of the Gundam series, it's a relative of gun tank. That's the Tragos for you. Let's talk about the equipment of the Tragos. Firstly, the cannon. It is the most prominent and crucial weapon. This is the main armament equipped on both shoulders of the Tragos. Hover type units basically come equipped with this. There are no units that carry the cannon while in a beetle state. These cannons have about the same power as the Dover gun used by the Leo. Just think, Tragos has a standard equipment, a weapon that Leo can only use by employing both arms and adding a special attachment to its shoulder. The effectiveness of this cannon was recognized, and the Tragos was consequently used on many battlefields. Next is the beam rifle. This is a weapon that the Tragos carries around using its hand. One of the advantages of humanoid weaponry is that it can fire at a much freer angle than the cannon. It is more powerful than the machine gun, which is a solid bullet weapon. Because of the existence of this beam rifle, Tragos can also excel in close combat. Of course, when it comes to mobility on the ground, Leo is superior. If it's a high-performance machine like a Gundam, there is an even bigger performance difference. Finally, we have the rifle. Actually, the official name and performance of this weapon are unknown. This weapon that Tragos carries is the same as the one that Tagi was using in its left hand in the opening video. In some scenes, you can see units equipped with a short barrel type rifle. These are what have been confirmed to be equipped in the story. Tragos is a unit developed based on Leo. From this fact, it is thought that it can use weapons that Leo can equip. However, this is just my personal interpretation. Please be aware that this is not an official setting. However, the great feature of mobile suits is their ability to flexibly respond to various situations. It would be advantageous to be able to handle weaponry of the same organization standards. These are the main equipment of the Tragos. It may look modest, but each one is indeed very powerful. Let's talk about the Tragos and its in-series accomplishments. Interestingly, the Tragos was never piloted by the main characters. Like the heroes of the story, astonishingly, there was even hardly a chance where the name of this machine was mentioned in the series. Hence, among fans, it's sometimes referred to as an unimpressive or forgettable mobile suit. One named character who did pilot the Tragos was Order of the Meganacore. Even those who watched Gundam Wing might not recall this. He used the Tragos to reclaim Gundam Sandrock from an enemy base. The Meganacore was a group of ace pilots who were never shot down in the story. That Order was able to pilot the Tragos in a split-second decision indicates the excellence of this mobile suit. It is believed that the knowledge about its handling spread because it was well regarded and deployed on various battlefields, of course. I understand that the significant reason for this is that the Tragos was born from the Leo, which was the bestseller in the series. And that's about the extent of the major performances of the Tragos. The reality is that there are not many scenes where it really shines in the series. We can see it providing artillery support on various battlefields, but it's always a supporting role. However, it might not be wrong to say it performs given how widespread it is and how often it is seen. While we're at it, Let me touch briefly on its performances outside of animation. In the comic titled Episode 0, the Tragos shows a surprising performance. A revolutionary from the colonies named Khan steals 8 Tragos suits and attacks an enemy base. It makes you realize that before the Gundams appeared, the Tragos, which was a side player in the anime, was a state-of-the-art and powerful machine. The major character in the animation, known was riding a white Tragos in her first battle. Surprisingly, she was only 10 years old at the time. When I was 10, I was obsessed with video games every day. I can't even imagine going into a battlefield in a mobile suit. Despite its modest appearance, the Tragos possesses definite power and shines in various scenes. That wraps up the explanation of the mobile suit Tragos. It may be a humble side character, but learning about its hidden episodes might have endeared it to you. Mobile suits that share the lineage of Tagi are all fascinating, aren't they? The ground warfare specialized Ryu, the aerial combatant Ares, and the long-range artillery Tragos. In the very first Gundam series, the Gundam played its role alongside 2 other prototype machines developed at the same time. There was the Gun Cannon, which excelled in mid-range artillery and close combat, and the Gun Tank, which was great for long-range bombardment. Among these 3, the Gundam, which achieved the most, served as the basis for the next generation of mainstay mass-produced mobile suits, the games in Gundam Wing. Based on the high-performance mobile suit Tagi, 3 types of mainstay mass-produced suits were born. Being able to find such elements similar to past works is one of the great appeals of the Gundam series. What kind of charm did you find in Tragos? Feel free to tell me in the comments. Lastly, the subscribe button on your screen serves as a trigger for long-range bombardment. Please take careful aim at your target and fire. Good luck. Let's meet again in the next lecture. Take care.